Okay, 5 coins that look pretty good for a pump. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a like and a comment. Now, we're going to talk about 5 coins. Now, I do apologise, some of these have already pumped. However, good trading opportunities could come from them, so it depends on your style. So we're going to talk about them in the higher time frames, right? Keep it simple. Now, I want to talk quickly about this. Obviously, quick refresh, you'll probably see a little bit of a rumbling. Bitcoin's certainly stable, kind of ish. It's kind of up and down a little bit, but it's starting to, I think, chill out. And what we're seeing as it stands and as per this analysis, you're going to notice that a few of the bigger cap coins are starting to pop. It would indicate token flow, right? It's starting to flow back into the altcoins and into the higher cap coins. So obviously, golden goose area of buy altcoins, buy altcoins, buy altcoins. Yeah, I know. If you listen, your BTC values in your portfolio will be much higher. We all know that. Now, that's important, right? But the biggest importance is, what is the total 2 chart doing? Well, it's still increasing. You know, we're looking at all these kind of dips and stuff. Over the last few days, it's kind of solidified, but it's still, you know, it's not dying. It's all right. It's pretty good. Looking at a lower time frame on this, you can kind of allude to it. It's pretty simple, right? We're still forming these higher lows and it's still going a little bit higher. So keep an eye on it, right? Keep an eye on it. I personally believe that even though Bitcoin will dump a little bit and maybe settle down a little bit, not so much dump, but I'll take that back. Let's just say Bitcoin goes down a little bit more. Your altcoins in USD prices maybe hurts, but money is still coming into the market. That's what I'm trying to say. Total 2 charts still going up. There we go. So I've got a few coins here I want to talk about. Now, the first one I want to talk about is what I tweeted about. Make sure you do follow me on Twitter. Was Litecoin. Now, I'm a little bit annoyed about it because I planned this out yesterday. I thought, yep, we're looking good. We're looking good. And then this morning I woke up and was like, oh, it's already boomed. So it's annoying. So I personally think that this is in a real good setup. And we always know when the higher cap coins go, essentially, Litecoin tends to rally hard. It tends to always push. It's always a good one. I don't know why. It's a bit of a strange one. Personally, I don't really rate it much for an asset of an investment, but trading opportunity, whenever the market's strong, Litecoin always does something normal. It's like relatively, it's regular. You can bank on it essentially. You know, unlike some coins where they don't tend to do anything, Litecoin you can always bank on it doing something, right? So it's looking pretty strong. Now, if I zoom out a little bit, we may we should realistically breach yet another all-time high. When you start looking at the trend is your friend and all kinds of good stuff, we all know that. But the fundamentals of the investment class, yeah, it's got privacy stuff and other elements, but for me, I don't class it as a long-term hold, that's just my opinion. But people do. And I will think that a lot of people get a lot of interest, a lot of kicks out of this, knowing that this level has held as a nice support on the 618 as well, through the previous levels as well from the past. It's looking pretty strong. So if you are a long-term investor in Litecoin, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest to see 380, 400 and 440 kind of levels in and around this region at some point in the not too distant future. Depends on Bitcoin though, as I say. If Bitcoin is pretty stable, and it does, I've said this a few times, I hope it goes sideways, I hope it gets boring for a month, it'd be nice. I remember days back in, I'm looking at one of my next coins also pumping right now, which is really annoying. So I remember back in, about 2 years ago, one day I woke up to Bitcoin, right, and in the night it moved $8. It didn't move at all. That's what I want. I want a boring Bitcoin, like a Bitcoin that you cannot trade and it's crap, because altcoins will fly. It's usually what happens. Anyways, number 2, you've probably already guessed it, Ethereum. Now, this is, I'm annoyed with myself. Sorry. Basically, this is a perfect situation realistically. It's done exactly what I said it would. If you've been watching my videos, Ethereum's undervalued, and people are like, you're an idiot. Yes, it is undervalued. You can see that by the pump. Now, obviously, pop. It's annoying because I had a trade. Now, I'll highlight what trade I had in a minute. But BTC pair of Ethereum looking good. I think it's going to break up and go higher. Now, it isn't the all-time high. It's obvious. We've been a lot higher. Just a quick zoom out there. You can see we can go much higher, and I believe potentially this area could be the next one. We'll see though. We'll see what happens overall. That's obviously the higher time frame. But as you know, I've already said it, money is flowing into the higher cap coins, Ethereum as an example, right? So that's looking pretty awesome. So again, what does this look like for the USD pair? Well, it looks like this, right? As I say, right, if we're looking at obvious levels here, this was it. And I'm somewhat annoyed that this happened. Now, that was one level, right? One level. But also you got this one as well, okay? Now, this one, you can argue, you know, 260 is whatever, right? Well, half a dozen. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, if you're starting from this impulse, going up, it held on the 618 perfectly. I'll zoom in so you can see it. This was a trade that I had, right? The trade that I had was from this low, from this start to this impulse to pull back into the 618. Now, my stop loss activated. So what I was doing, I had orders in this area, right? Low amount, bigger amount, biggest amount, right? In terms of laddering in. And I had a stop loss here. $2,000 I had a stop loss. It's like, you bastard! But never mind, it happens, right? So stop losses are great, but they're also going to hurt you. It's like a seatbelt. Imagine a seatbelt, right? They will save you from going through the window, but they might take your shoulder off. It's one of those things, isn't it? So that's annoying, right? So if I was in this trade still, I would have been pretty much really happy. I would have been well into profit. Stop loss would have been more than in profit. And I do feel we are going to tap over and hit around $3,000 in the not too distant future. We are looking incredibly strong. So if we're looking for a future trade, because obviously this one's looking a bit, we need to wait and see what happens with the next turning point. So it may well, let's just say, argument's sake, use this next bottom. Actually, I'll remove some jargon so you can't get confused. Let's just say, for example, this candle stops up here, right? Just above this level. What that would then give us is obviously next levels of a high and then a potential lower high. The trend continuation, right? I always trade on the retest, which is why I always wait for pullbacks. I don't wait for breakouts. Some people will enter a trade here. Some people enter it where I would have been, down here. You know, everyone's different. But if we're looking at the obvious here, we may well go to here or maybe lower and then retrace back down to that point. And then the trend will then continue going forward again, as you can probably imagine, up to even higher. So that's kind of what I would look for if you're looking for a trade opportunity. I'm annoyed. That's so annoying. Anyways, the next one, Link. Chainlink. And very, very similar setup to what? Ethereum. There we go. I'll get my words out. This was a cataclysmic wick. Huge liquidity grab. I don't think this is done yet. I think this hasn't pumped yet, and I'm excited for the next phase of this. I think the oracles are going to start moving soon. I just got that feeling in my water. Looking at the trend, obviously, it's still intact. A nice high. It's pulled back into a nice liquidity grab. It's holding this level here. It might go a bit lower. Don't worry about it. But there'll be a lot of demand in and around this region, in my opinion. So will we see a $44 again? Most likely. Will we see $50? Probably. Will we see higher than that? Most likely, in my opinion. But it's early days. It depends on, obviously, Bitcoin USD prices. But when we start looking at this in as well, the BTC bears, this is a setup that I've had on for a while. And I've had this on for, you've probably seen my video on it. So basically starting from this low. Was it this low? Let me just start that again, just so I can, yeah, right, if we're going to go from, say, this point to this level here, yeah, it's very, very similar. So you can see from this low to this high, we retrace into the 618 levels. It looks very, very similar. It's holding on this support level. This previous level, this old support level from the past is quite a significant area of resistance and support. It's holding nicely. So it's looking pretty good. So we may well see a much higher chain link at some point. And again, this is, again, as I've said it before, majorly undervalued in the BTC pair. So don't expect that to just dribble away and just shrink. It's probably going to do the absolute opposite. Moving on to the next one, and one I've not really covered much before, Luna. Now, I've not really covered this for a while. And again, this is the BTC pair. If you're going to go from this, like, in my opinion, this is like the start of this impulse wave. Going to go from that point to this point. Again, this 618 level, in and around it, it's not exact, obviously, but it's very, very close to it, right? Previous levels, demand has been found at this previous level of resistance, is 618, starting to pop off a little bit. So we'll see what happens here. Looking at the BTC pair, again, on the nose this time, a bit more accurate, but it's looking pretty decent, right? For me, I rate it a lot. I'm really annoyed with myself. If you don't know the story, I basically covered this at 30 cents. I thought, I want to buy this at some point. It popped before I got my bag. Annoying. always buy something. If you like it, buy it, right? Don't do what I do. It happens, right? Everyone's got that kind of experience. But when I look at this, it's done a monster move and it's found level of support. Retraced nicely, looking pretty good. This could be the next leg up, and it is now a high cap coin. So keep an eye on it, definitely keep an eye on it. And the last one, I've not covered this one for a while neither. Compound. When Ethereum's strong, Compound is strong. When obviously Aave as well, Curve, other ones like that because of the DeFi space. Again, this is one that popped off in the night. I'm sorry. But again, if we're looking at a trade opportunity, it's looking pretty good. Let's see if it breaks out. If it goes higher than that, perfect. What will happen here? This level here, these wicks will become the start of the move. Impulse, pullback, and it may go a lot higher. So in my opinion, it's looking pretty strong as it stands, right? But this has hit the 618 levels on the nose. Perfect little symmetry with the whole level of this previous, consolidation period essentially. But as I say, let's just say, for example, this happens. So from this low and it goes to this point here. Let me put that there and I'll remove that one. Let's just say, for example, this could happen. We could form a high up here at some point. It then pulls back. It may well actually be this previous high. This high point may well be the next target level for a potential thing. Let me annotate this a bit better. So let's just say, for example, we go pop, boom. This could happen, by the way. I might leave this on my chart. Should we just leave this on my chart and see if that actually plays out? So that could be the next play if you're obviously missing this. So wait to see what happens, to see if it turns around. If it has formed a new high, wait for the retracement. These should then be support technically if there's still demand in the area, and then you can use it as a great little, guide essentially. So I'll leave that on my chart. We'll come back to it at some point. Obviously they're very, very rough. They could go at any point, by the way, on these. But what we're looking for is this level, if it breaks out, by the way, this level to become a support level. Let's see if it works out. Educational. Anyways, enjoy. It's Thursday. It's sunny. Go and get some sun.